do you need help to not have your own tantrum while your kids are needing help with theirs? This is such a common problem for parents. My name's Jodie Thornton, and today let's talk about what you need to do so that you can handle your own feelings while your kids are having really out of control big feelings. So our number one tip here is really to understand what the purpose of feelings are. So if we know that our children having overwhelming feelings, so whether that's tantrums, meltdowns, whether they're just being unreasonable and difficult, whatever's happening, your child has had a feeling come up and they haven't known what to do with it. And then another feeling has come up and they haven't known what to do with it. And another feeling, right? And that continues until they use up the window of tolerance that they have. Now, our windows of tolerance are smaller on the days that we're tired, on the days that we've started school or a new daycare, if we've moved house, if we've had stress in the household, if we've had a parental separation or new partner come along, and also on those developmental stages. So the cognitive developmental stages happen between the ages of 1 and 6. They happen on the half birthdays, and then after that they happen on the odd birthdays, so 7, 9, 11. So in those spaces, our window of tolerance is smaller. And so when we remind ourselves, obviously this is a really long-winded explanation, but in the moment, what we want to remind ourselves is that our child is having feelings that they don't know what to do with. And you can see how it's not a crisis, right? Like when we're really feeling stressed by our kids having big feelings, sometimes we're not thinking anything in like a kind of, a true thought process way. It can just feel really agitating on the inside. And sometimes we are thinking things like, it's ridiculous that you're so upset about the colour of the cup, or I don't know how much longer I can handle this, or we've got all these thoughts kind of happening. But if we focus on the fact that my child is having big feelings and they don't know what to do with them, then it becomes, it's like, yeah, this is hard, but it's not a crisis. Now, if you want to add on to that, then it's helpful for me to be here with my child when they're overwhelmed. So that can really just help you to know that just you being there is helpful for your child, even if you don't know how to help them to calm down, even if their meltdown is continuing, you being there is helpful for your child. So if you just remind yourself in those processes. So I find it helpful for me when it is actually starting to get to me. I focus on physically relaxing my body. So I'll relax my jaw, these muscles, I never know what these are called, the ones that are between the shoulders and the back of your neck. It's kind of at the back of your, top of your torso, I don't know, I should really look up the name of those muscles, and my hands. If I relax those three places, it's easier for me to focus on my child is having big feelings, they don't know what to do with them, and it's helpful for me to stay here with them. So that's our first step, is to just really look at what is the purpose of feelings, that this is not a crisis. And if we think about the messages that we've all picked up about overwhelming feelings from our own childhood, from the school system, from culture, essentially a person who is losing it, they are being unreasonable, they are putting their feelings on other people, they're being selfish, they're being ridiculous in their expectations. Like, think about all those messages you have gotten personally and the messages that are floating around in the culture about big feelings. That's all the stuff that makes us feel like this is not okay and I'm not doing a good job if my child is having these feelings. So the more we just focus on my child is having big feelings, they don't know what to do with them, it's helpful for me to be here. And that can really help you to stay calm in those moments. So the second thing we want to do is focus your attention on what is causing the big feelings. So if we focus our attention on what is it from your child's perspective that is overwhelming. So it might be, I'm exhausted and I don't know how to deal with this. It might be, I'm starving hungry, but I've gone past the point of being so hungry that I'm now refusing food, so I'm stuck. It might be, the colour of the cup is really important to me because the baby always gets what she wants and I never get what I want anymore. So you can see we're really going into what is their perspective. If you find yourself focusing on things that are not actually able to be validated, so it might be something like you just want everything your way, or even the ones that are kind but not that kind when you unpack them. So it's like you're a child and you don't understand. Like it's kind of, it's more respectful than perhaps what would have been said 20 years ago, but it's also just basically saying a kid can just not get it and then just be unhappy and they're just unhappy, and it kind of dismisses what's really going on for the kid. So anytime that you think about their perspective and it's not something you can validate, go deeper and look for what is really going on here. Might it be feeling not important because the baby's come along? Might it be feeling stressed because we've just started a new school? There's all of these things that can come in. We're looking for what is the valid reason why this feels overwhelming for them. And that, once you're in that space, it can really help you to not feel. It's part of the issue that causes the kind of our own adult tantrum is this idea that they shouldn't feel this way, that it is not okay or unfair that they feel this way. So if you can get into the perspective of this is what's valid for my child, then that will really help you to stay calm. Now, the third piece we want to look here for is what is coming up for you in terms of baggage. So when your child has big feelings, does that make you feel like this is never going to be enough for you? No matter how good of a parent I am, it's just never going to be enough. Does it bring up for you something like, well, if you will not allow me to solve this problem for you so that this tantrum can be over, I'm not going to get what I need. I'm never going to get a chance to relax or even have a cup of tea. What we're looking for is these underlying beliefs that most of them will have been something you've picked up in childhood. Some of them can come in later in life. Most of them will be those early childhood beliefs that have come along. And those are the things that whenever you have an issue, your brain goes to apply, oh, it must be this problem again. And so when it's those types of things, we want to question, is that actually true? And so if we take that, it's never going to be enough for you, child one. Well, when we say it's never going to be enough for you, is it actually just that she's exhausted and she needs time to rest and it's just been a rough day? And it's not that it's never going to be enough. It's just that on this particular day, she's really tired, right? Or is it that she feels like it's unfair and really I haven't really been focusing on making sure that she gets what she needs. I've just been focusing on we've got to get through, we've got to get through, we've got to get through. Like she should just accept what I'm giving her. And those are the kinds of things that make us realize, actually, this is not it's never going to be enough situation. This is just a situation where she's really telling me she's not getting what she needs. Right? And so those are the types of things we can do to unpack those. Now, ultimately, these 3 tips will really, really help you to be able to be more calm in those moments when your child is really losing it. But we really need to get to a place where for you to be able to stay calm, ultimately what you're going to need is the skills to be able to help your child to calm down, and ideally the skills for them to be able to prevent the tantrums from coming in the first place. So what we're talking about there is being able to use empathy through your words and your body language, your tone of voice to help your child to re-regulate. And then we're talking about the idea of actually solving the problem your child has. So these feelings are not weather. They're not something that's uncontrollable and happens at random. They're happening because your child has a need that is unresolved. And so essentially, all those times where people say you just need to stay calm while your child is upset, what they're saying to you is that you need to be okay with your child not having their needs met and having big feelings about that. And something in our systems knows that that's just not okay, right? That we really want our children to be able to get their needs met. Now, what we need to be able to do that in a skillful way so that we're giving, so for example, when they're asking for ice cream 12 times a day, we're not giving them ice cream 12 times a day. We're looking for what's the underlying need, not the top line want. We're looking for the underlying needs so that we're making sure that we're giving them things that are healthy for them, take care of all of their needs, but also take take account of the fact that there are other people involved, whether it's siblings, yourself, your partner, it could be your ex, and also other people, their friends. So we need to help your child learn to be a problem solver so that they can figure out what is it that they need and how can we get them that in a way that works for everybody. And then, of course, those baggage, like getting those baggage spaces cleared up so that those hot buttons don't get pressed for you so often. And these are things that will take a little bit longer for you to implement because most of us were not raised with emotional awareness techniques. We're not raised to be aware of our own feelings. We're not raised to know how to help someone else with theirs. And we're certainly not raised with the problem solving strategies. We're kind of raised what I always call is whose turn is it to sacrifice? So like, whose turn is it to have the short end of the stick? That's what we're taught is like genuine problem solving, and that's not really going to cut the mustard really. So if you would like my help in being able to help your child to calm down, to be able to resolve the problem so that they don't have tantrums as often, and also to deal with the baggage from yourself that might come up from your childhood or other experiences you've had, then let's do that together over 6 months. We can meet online over Zoom and we can go through building your skill set and your toolkit so that you know what does my child need from me in this moment so that they can be calm, be happy, and also learn to be a problem solver that takes account of everybody else's needs as well. And get my help to help you work through that baggage as well. So over 6 months we can do this together, and if you'd like to talk about whether this is the right next step for you, you can send me an email at jody@jodythornton.com and let me know how things are going for you at the moment, and we can organise a time to chat. Thanks so much for watching.